Shalom Yasharallah, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give Kal Halal La Yahweh, Bahasham Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. That is to say, all praise to Yahweh, in the name of the anointed Yahweh Shai. Yahweh, of course, being the true name of the Heavenly Father, and Yahweh Shai being the name of the man that the world ignorantly calls Jesus, right? His true name. The name that he went by, the name his parents called him. His name is Yahweh Shai. Yahweh means he exists. Yahweh Shai means he deliver, right? Because Hebrew's a lot more simple than English. It is a complex language, of course, but English is just unnecessarily complex. Hebrew's a lot more simple, just gets to the point, so Yahweh Shai just means he deliver, right? Because that's what he does, he delivers, right? So, Salakia, we've been away for a minute, had some things in life, but it's no excuse, we're back to it. A bit late to this one, I was hoping to maybe do this before, but we're just doing it today now. A quick video on Christmas. Now, last year, I did a much more in-depth video on Christmas. Obviously we've increased since then, but we're just going to keep it simple, to be honest. Just bring out the facts and bring out the scriptures. Go to the classic Jeremiah chapter 10. So the first thing to understand, Christmas, what really is it? It's nothing to do with Christ's birth. It's believed that Christ was born around springtime, right? In reality, he was really born around springtime. Whether he was or wasn't, it doesn't even matter, right? It doesn't matter because we don't do birthdays. We don't celebrate birthdays. You read in the book of Job, his children died for celebrating birthdays. The Most High killed them for celebrating each brother's birthday, right? Salakia. They died for celebrating each brother's birthday. That's why the Most High killed them, judged them, right? So, we don't do birthdays, right? Let me get Sirach 33 for starters. Because the first thing to understand is birthdays are not special, so even if it was Christ's birthday, it doesn't matter. We shouldn't be celebrating that. It's got nothing to do with the Bible, right? December 25th, and you can look this up, is actually the birthday of Nimrod. Nimrod's birthday, right? Not Christ's birthday. Let me get Sirach chapter 33, and I believe I want to start at verse 7. Yeah. Verse 7. Why doth one day excel another, when as all the light of every day in the year is of the sun? Right, so it's saying, why is one day more important than another day, when every day looks the same? The sun comes up, the sun goes down. You see the moon, right? You see the stars. The wind blows the same. You know, sometimes stronger or weaker, but the point is, it's always wind, right? There's rain, right? There's no special, I don't know, like bright red rain that falls down. No, all the rain is the same, right? Every day looks the same. The sun comes up and it goes down. It gets light and it gets dark. So there's not like a big sign in the sky that says today is the Sabbath, this is the holy day, or today is Passover. Right? We don't get that. Every day just looks the same. So he's saying, why does one day excel another when they all just look the same, right? They all seem the same. Okay? It says, by the knowledge of the Lord, by the knowledge of the Lord they were distinguished, and he altered seasons and feasts, right? So by his knowledge, by the knowledge of the Lord, they were distinguished, right? So even though they all look the same, he's the one that decided, okay, Passover is special, Sabbath days are special, okay, new moons are special, the other days aren't special. He distinguished the difference, right? Because they all look the same. There's nothing special actually going on with the day itself, but he's the one that made this day special, right? It says, some of them hath he made high days, and hallowed them, and some of them hath he made ordinary days, right? He's made some days high days and hallowed them, which means made them holy or set them apart. And he's made some days just ordinary days. Christmas is just an ordinary day. It's just another day. Of course, this Christmas we have Feast of Dedication. Okay, this today. So of course it's holy in that sense, but just on a regular Christmas, it's not special. It's just another day. It's just another day, right? Your birthday is just another day. It doesn't tell you in Leviticus chapter 23, celebrate your birthday, I've made that day special. No, you can be grateful for another year being alive. Nothing wrong with that. But when you celebrate your birthday, for example, people are bringing you gifts, celebrating you. It's your day. Everyone has to do what you ask. Everyone has to serve you, give service to you. There's a whole ceremonial, ritualistic type blowing out the candles and cutting the cake and all the creepy stuff, right? But people celebrate you. They bring you gifts like you would do to an idol. It's your day. You're the high person on that day. It's idolatry, okay? And a lot of people struggle with wrapping their head around that, but it's idolatry. Now, like I say, being grateful for another year being alive, fine. You can say, all praises to the Most High. I've been around for 24 years, right? You can do that. But when you start celebrating your birthday and making it a special day, you need to first understand that it's not a special day. It's not your big day. It's just another day. It just happens to be the anniversary of your birth. You just happen to be here for another year. But it's not a special day because he decided which days are special and which days are normal. Your birthday, unless it falls on a holy day, is just a regular day, right? There's nothing special going on. So Christmas is not special. It's not biblical. You don't find it in the Bible. In fact, Salakia, you do find it in the Bible. But the only time you find it is when you're being told not to have anything to do with it, right? Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 10, bring out the classic. And remember, within this context, we're dealing with Babylon. The Christmas tree goes back to Babylon, right? We're not supposed to be doing things that the Babylonians were doing. We're supposed to be doing things that we're supposed to be doing, right? So if this custom goes back to them, let's just get the scripture right. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen. So what's this saying? Is this saying we can't learn about Christmas? No, we need to learn the facts. The fact that I could tell you it's Nimrod's birthday on the 25th, the fact that I can tell you these things, I had to learn about the day, right? So it's not saying you can't learn about the ways, as in don't study them and understand and be able to bring out the facts pertaining to them. When it says learn, it means don't do it, right? Like, you can learn about darts or pool or football or basketball, right? You can learn about that, but you're not doing it. You're just knowing facts about it. But if you learn darts, you learn football, it means you're gaining that skill by doing it. That's how you get that skill, by doing it, doing the action, practicing it. Right? So it's basically saying don't practice their customs. Don't do the things that they do. Yeah, we learn about them in order to educate and edify, but we don't do them, right? We don't sit around doing Christmas dinner, pulling crackers and Christmas crackers and asking the little ones what Santa's bringing this year. We don't do that, right? We don't put on the Santa hats and throw out the Christmas trees, right? We don't sing the damn Christmas carols. We don't do that because that's the heathens. The Most High told us, learn not the way of the heathens. Don't do their customs, right? It says, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them, right? So we can see eclipses, shooting stars. We can see the signs in the heavens. And we just give glory to God, right? Let me get Psalms chapter 19. Psalm chapter 19. Like I said, this is not going to be too in-depth. I did a more in-depth breakdown on Christmas last year. This one, we're just going over some basics, because the bottom line is, don't celebrate Christmas, right? And I'm showing you why out of the Bible. This is Psalm chapter 19, verse 1. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. So when we see these things in the heavens, all these beautiful colours in the sky, all these, if you're lucky enough to in an area with not a lot of light pollution, you might see how beautiful the so-called galaxies and things are, okay? And all these beautiful purple and red colours and pink colours and all the green and the blue and all these beautiful colours in the sky, all these constellations. You see a beautiful shooting star fly past. You see you see all kinds of beauty in the sky. Guess what? The heathen begin to worship that as if they're gods. They see different celestial events, so to speak. They might see a solar eclipse and they might worship it, right? They worship the sun and the moon as gods, right? That's what the heathen do. But we shouldn't do that. We should see those things and give the glory to our Most High God, Yahweh Ba'ashem HaMashiach Yahushai, and say, wow, that's declaring his glory, right? Because he makes it happen. He designed it, put it together, right? He's the mastermind behind it, and Yahushai is the workman who put it together, right? So at the end of the day, we see that, and we see the glory that we see his glory, Salakia. And the firmament shows his handiwork. It shows the work of his hands, right? Let me get Ecclesiastes. Let me just quickly grab Ecclesiastes and we'll get back to Jeremiah, right? Okay. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 4. One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. So you get people who come up, they come up from babies, they become old, they pass away, and then the next generation comes up. And it just repeats like that. And everyone passes away, and a new generation comes, and then they pass away, and a new generation comes, and they pass away. But the earth is still here. Right, the earth is still here. It hasn't gone anywhere. You don't get a new earth with every generation. Okay, this next generation has to go dwell on this new earth. Right, hop in the ship. Let's fly over there, and let's go dwell on the new earth. Oh, it's time for this generation to die, so we need a new earth. No, the earth abides forever. The generations come up and die within it. Right, and you'll see where I'm going with this. It says, the sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down, and hasteth to his place where he arose. So the sun is on its constant cycle. It always comes up. It always goes down and it comes back around, right? It's going around in its cycle, okay? The wind goeth toward the south and turneth about unto the north. It whirleth about continually, and the wind returneth again according to his circuits. So the wind is always on the move, always going around its circuits around the earth, right? Constantly. It says, all the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from whence the rivers come, thither they return again, right? So all the rivers, they flow, and then they flow into the sea, and the sea is not full, right? The sun evaporates some water, it comes up, rises up, becomes the clouds, and then once it can't hold the water no more, it releases, and it returns back to its place, right? And then it runs back through the rivers, and it does the same thing again and again and again, right? The Most High is the one that makes all these things happen, right? They don't happen by themselves. In different mythologies, different heathen customs, you have the god of water, and the god of wind, and the god of fire, the god of the sun, right? They say, I can't remember who it is, but there's an idol that they say is in a chariot. I think it's Greek or Roman. It might be both, because they have the same gods, just in different names. And they actually get that from the Canaanites. But they have a god, an idol, which they say is in a chariot pulling the sun along, right? But no, it's the Most High that makes it happen through the Spirit, right? Let me get Salakia. I'm not trying to do too much. Let me get Sirach. No. Wisdom of Solomon. I believe I want 12. Yeah. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 1. For thine incorruptible spirit is in all things, right? His incorruptible spirit is in all things. You see the waves crashing, his spirit is moving the waves, right? His incorruptible spirit is in everything. You see the trees bringing forth fruits, his spirit is making them do that. You see the movements of men and the things that they do, his spirit is moving them to do it, right? We know, according to Proverbs chapter 20, verse 22 or 24, right? We know full well that man's goings are of the Lord, right? Proverbs chapter 20, verse 24. Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? So when you walk to the end of the road and you turn left, you thought you did that. Nah, he made you do that, right? But it felt to you like you made that decision. Really, he moved your spirit, right? So his incorruptible spirit is in all things, right? You see the wind, or you feel the wind, Salakia. His spirit is moving that. That's a spirit, right? And he's moving that. See the grass grow. That's a spirit that his spirit is in that, right? So he makes the sun go up and down through the spirit, right? He makes the waters do their cycles and the wind do their cycles, right? He's the one that makes the sky turn all these different beautiful colors, right? And you're about to see why I'm getting at this. It says, Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 8, all things are full of labor. Man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing, right? People want them, they always say, oh, why can't we see God? If he really wants to prove himself to us and prove that he exists, well, first of all, he doesn't have to. That's above you, right? That's far above you, and you are not the one to demand that from him, right? But people say, why don't he just make himself known and then everyone will believe and everyone will see him? Well, he only has a select few that he wants to believe, right? To really be with him, to really have faith. He only has a select few. He chose us from the foundation of the earth, according to Ephesians, right? So at the end of the day, I believe it's Ephesians chapter 1. Let's try not to just paraphrase. Let's bring it out. So Ephesians chapter 1 verse 4, I believe. Ephesians chapter 1 verse 4, according as he hath chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love, right? So before the foundation of the world, he chose us already. He already knows which spirits are going to make it and which aren't, right? It says, having predestinated us unto the adoption of children by Hamashiach Yahushua to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will. So it was his will to predestine who he wants to make it, right? So that's first of all. But people will always say, oh, why didn't he just make himself known? Everyone will believe then and everything will be fine and dandy. Well, he doesn't have to, right? All things are full of labor. He makes the sun go up and down, right? He makes the wind do its circuit. He makes the water do its circuit and its cycles, right? He makes the sky turn all these different beautiful purple and red and all these different beautiful colors, right? You get a beautiful sunset, right? You get a beautiful landscape. You see the beauty that is within the birth of creatures, right? You see all the different beautiful colored fish and all the different things that they can do. You see these amazing things that these beasts can do, that you didn't even know these beasts can do these majestic things, right? And you see all this beauty in the earth, all this creation, all this stuff. He did everything. He made it all. He had the vision, right? Laid the blueprint, so to speak. And by his word, he commanded Hamashiach Yahushai to put those angels to work, to put everything together. And he's continually making this happen, right? All things are full of labor, right? But man's eyes are not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. So you see all these things, and that's not enough for you to say, yes, there is a Most High God. Yes, there is Yahweh B'Hashem HaMashiach Yahushua. That's not enough for you. You see all this stuff, everything that happens, right? How complex your body is, your vascular system, right? The fact that your heart, everything works exactly as it needs to work in order for you to live. You have everything you need within you, right? You have all this, but you're not satisfied with that, right? That's not enough for you to say there is a Most High, right? You have to want to see him. You want him to come down and deal with you face to face. Well, he's not doing that, right? We're kind of going off on a tangent, so let's just get back to the point, right? So the heathen are dismayed at the signs of heaven in Jeremiah chapter 10, right? They see these things and they worship them, right? Instead of them seeing it and giving glory to God like we do, and saying that the firmament is his handiwork, shows his handiwork, they worship these things because they're stupid, right? They're idiots. They're foolish and they don't understand, right? We understand. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 3. For the customs of the people are vain, right? So that means that the things that they do, the customs they have, are pointless. There's no point to them, right? There's no point in Christmas. There's no point in your birthday, okay? It says, for one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe, right? So what does that sound like? They cut a tree out of the forest. What do you do every year? You go to that gala, that market, and it's full of Christmas trees, right? Nowadays, we get a lot of synthetic ones, right? Salakia. But especially traditionally, you get actual trees that have been cut down, right? The earth been destroyed for a pointless task, a pointless tradition, right? The earth being cut down for a pointless thing. When we hewed down stones to build the temple, right, and got all that cedar wood, that wasn't vain. There was a purpose to that. We were building the temple so the Most High God, Yahweh B'Hashem HaMashiach Yahushai, could dwell amongst us, and we would have a place to give service, right? According to as he gave to Solomon to do, as David wanted to do, right? That had a purpose, that had a point. There was a reason for it, a good reason, a perfect reason. There's no reason to cut down millions of trees just to decorate them for half a month and then throw them away. There's no point in doing that, right? It's vain. Destroying the earth for no good damn reason, right? It says, for one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold, right? So they deck it with, you get all the different silver and gold baubles, the tinsel wrapped around, right? You got the little, either the fairy or the star at the top, all gold or silver, all shimmering and shiny, right? All the tinsel wrapped around the tree, which is, I believe is representing the serpent, right? And then you got all the different baubles, all the different bells, the golden and silver bells, right? So you deck it with silver and with gold. You make it look all fancy. It says they fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not, right? That's like the little plus or cross that you see at the bottom to keep it from toppling over, right? You plug it into that thing at the bottom. It's like a stand. You plug it into there, and it's been fastened, right, with all the screws and the nails, right? That you'd use hammers. Traditionally, that's how you would used to do it. You used to hammer it into the stand, right? You do that so it won't move, so it won't topple over, right? This is describing a Christmas tree, and I don't care what you have to say. Even if you're saying this is not the Christmas tree, the point is the Most High said, don't do this. And then what did he go into detail? Taking a tree, decking it with silver and gold, and making it stand upright. He said, don't do that. That's a heathen custom. He said, learn not the way they... So I don't even care. Even if you want to play semantics, right, and deny this truthful fact that this is talking about Christmas trees, even if you can't get that into your head, you still have to confess that he said, don't take trees, cut them down, deck them with silver, and stand them up. He said, don't do it. Don't do that custom. Don't do that tradition. It's a heathen... It's pagan in nature. It's got nothing to do with the Bible. So even if you, for some reason, can't understand that this is the Christmas tree, it still says don't do that, regardless. So put that within the context that we're speaking. Even if you're saying it's not the Christmas tree, you still shouldn't do the Christmas tree because it's the exact same detail. It's exactly what he detailed. You're doing that same thing, whether it's about Christmas or not. He said don't do that. Right? Verse 5, they are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither is it in them to do good, right? So when it says they must needs be born, it means they have to be carried, right? I always think about this one picture, and I can never find it these days. It was like one of those Indian gods, the blue ones, the Elamite gods, like the coloured blue. They've got like 6 or 8 arms or something, and they've got the weird hairdo going on, and they've got the red dot, and they're kind of sat in a praying, meditating position. It was a picture of like a dirty-ass Elamite flood, right? The proper murky brown water. And there was an Elamite man carrying this idol out of the temple. This idol couldn't save itself, right? I'm going to get into that in a moment before we wrap this up, but this idol couldn't save itself. Imagine that your God has to be carried out by you. You have to save your God from the temple. That's not a God. God comes from the word Allah, which means power, right? The Hebrew word Allah. I'm not talking about that damn Muslim moon god, right? That god of sacrifice, but Allah, the Hebrew word Allah means power, right? That's not a power. If it was a power, then it would save you from the flood, but you had to save it from the flood, right? So that's the same thing where it must needs be born. It has to be carried, right? Don't be afraid of them, right? They can't speak. You could insult it all day. It won't say nothing to you, and it won't do anything to you, right? But it can't do good or evil, so just don't worry about it. If you see that statue, you can topple it over if you want. Smash it. It's not going to do anything. It can't do good. It can't do evil. It can't, bear in mind, if you're afraid of the Most High, he can bless you, right? You can be afraid of him for the curses he can give you, right? And if you're afraid of him, he can bless you, right? So he's saying don't be afraid of these because it's not in them to do good or evil, right? So don't be afraid of what you think they might do to you if you, I don't know, flip them off. Don't be afraid of what it might do to you because it can't do evil. It can't do anything to you. Same way, don't be afraid of it hoping that it's going to bless you because it can't do good, right? Don't be afraid of them. They don't exist. So we're just going to finish off. Do I want verse 6? I don't think so. Yeah, we'll get that, just to glorify our Father. Verse 6, for as much as there is none like unto thee, O Lord, thou art great, and thy name is great in might. Who would not fear thee, O King of nations? For to thee doth it appertain. For as much as among all the wise men of the nations, and in all their kingdoms, there is none like unto thee. But they are altogether brutish and foolish. The stock is a doctrine of vanities. Right? We could continue to read this, but I want to get to Baruch and wrap this up. Baruch chapter 6, also known as the Epistle of Jeremy. Jeremy, of course, being Jeremiah, right? We'll start at verse 1. Because of the sins which ye have committed before God, ye shall be led away captives into Babylon by Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Babylonians. So when ye be come unto Babylon, ye shall remain there. So like, I best read the opening. It says, a copy of an epistle written, an epistle which Jeremy sent unto them, which were to be led captive into Babylon by the king of the Babylonians, to certify them as it was commanded him of God. So the Most High God commanded him to send this letter to certify them, right? To let them know, look, you're going to Babylon, but here's what you need to do when you're there, right? It says, so when ye be come unto Babylon, ye shall remain there many years, and for a long season, namely 7 generations, and after that I will bring you away peaceably from thence. Now shall ye see in Babylon gods of silver and of gold and of wood, borne upon shoulders, which cause the nations to fear. So you're going to see these different gods, right? And now that we're in this final Babylon, right, Babylon the Great, I know that's America, but obviously the world kind of lives after America. So even here in the UK, it's a Babylon system, right? While we're here, we're going to see these different gods. You're going to see Christmas trees, man, just out in the local communities, all over. I don't know what it's like, but a lot of places in Yorkshire, you get in the different local areas. In fact, they do it everywhere. I think there's 2 down where my wife stays. There's 2, right? Because we're not living together right now, and where she stays, I think there's a town square where they put 2 Christmas trees up, right? Everywhere you go, they have damn Christmas trees just littered around, right? You're going to see these different idols. You see Santa coming past in the sleigh, you know, when they get the sleigh and they get the car and pull him along, and he comes and greets the kids outside. You're going to see these things, right? It says, now shall ye see in Babylon gods of silver and of gold and of wood, borne upon shoulders, which cause the nations to fear. Beware therefore, Salakia. And just another thing about the Christmas tree also, it is service to an idol, because what do you kids do first thing in the morning, right? First of all, the Christmas tree is the centerpiece of the house, and everyone worships it and glorifies it, right? You will get more respect for having a better Christmas tree. Your neighbors will respect you more for having a more bright, colourful, impressive Christmas tree. And what do your kids do first thing in the morning? They come downstairs on Christmas Day, they bow down to reach under the tree, so they bow, and then what do they receive in return? They get a gift. They worship an idol, and in return, they get a blessing, right? It's idolatry, straight up and down idolatry. It says, beware therefore that ye in no wise be like to strangers, neither be ye afraid of them when ye see the multitude before them and behind them worshipping them. So when you see them worshipping these gods, don't be afraid. It says, but say ye in your hearts, O Lord, we must worship thee, for mine angel is with you, and I myself caring for your souls, right? So when we see these things, that's what we're supposed to say. We're supposed to say, look, no, I'm going to worship the Most High, because his angel is with us, even though we're in this wicked society with all these idols around and all these nations fearing and worshiping these idols. We need to fear God, because the angel is with him. Now, I believe that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had read this letter. I believe that amongst some other brothers I know that believe that they read this epistle because they had the confidence to know that they could defy Nebuchadnezzar, and even though he's going to put them in the furnace, they're going to be okay. Salakia, because the Most High said, for mine angel is with you, and I myself caring for your souls. So he cared for their souls. He kept them from not even just being hurt and injured by the fire, but even to the extent of not even smelling like fire, not having their clothes or hair singed, not even smelling of smoke. Right, he completely preserved them from that flame that they got put into that furnace with, right? What did he say? He said, my angel is with thee, right? So let me read it. For mine angel is with you, right? And what happened in the furnace? 3 men went in, but Nebuchadnezzar saw 4 men walking around in there, right? Because the angel was with him. Now, a lot of people say that was Hamashiach Yahushai. A lot of people say it was just another angel, right? I'm not going to say it was Hamashiach. I'm not going to say it wasn't Hamashiach. I don't know. I'm not going to say whether it is or not. But the bottom line is, the Most High had them protected. He had an angel in there looking after them, right? Keeping them safe. So let's see, where was we? It says, as for their tongues, so talking about the idols, it says, as for their tongue, it is polished by the workmen, and they themselves are gilded and laid over with silver, yet are they but false and cannot speak. So their tongue has to be polished by the workmen from the dust that collects from the feet of the people who walk in the temple, right? They have to be cleaned. can't clean themselves because they're not gods, right? They have to be, it says they are gilded and laid over with silver, yet are they but false and cannot speak, right? They have to be laid over with silver. The tongues are laid over with silver, and they have a tongue that they can't speak. There's no point. It says, and taking gold, as it were, for a virgin that loveth to go gay, they make crowns for the heads of their gods. Sometimes also the priests convey from their gods gold and silver and bestow it upon themselves. So sometimes the priests of these idols steal the silver. We read about that in Bel and the Dragon, right? With Daniel. It says, yea, they will give thereof to the common harlots, and deck them as men with garments, being gods of silver and gods of gold and wood. Yet cannot these gods save themselves from rust and moths, though they be covered with purple raiment, right? So these gods can't save themselves. Same thing I was talking about, that Elamite god, where the Elamite was carrying their idol statue out of a flood. It couldn't save itself. It couldn't even save the people who serve it. That god had to be saved. That is not a god. That's not a power, right? It says they wipe their faces because of the dust of the temple when there is much upon them. And he that cannot put to death one that offendeth him holdeth a scepter as though he were a judge of the country. So a judge will often hold a scepter, right? And will put to death someone who offends him, right? Especially a wicked judge. But like I said, you can flip off and insult these idols, statues, all you want, and they can't do nothing to you because they're not real. They can't put you to death, right? But if you was to do that to a real judge, you would be in serious trouble, right? But you can insult these idols as much as you want, and even though they're holding a scepter like a judge, they can't do anything to you, right? That's why it says don't be afraid of them. It's not in them to do evil or good, right? It says, he hath also in his right hand a dagger and an axe, but cannot deliver himself from war and thieves. So you can go and destroy it. If you can knock it over and it can't touch you. It can't, even though it's holding an axe, a weapon of war, it can't hurt you, right? Whereby they are known not to be gods, therefore fear them not. So we're going to leave it there. So don't be celebrating Christmas. We've got so-called New Year's coming up too. I'm probably going to do a video on that. Also going into how the wicked man Esau, Edom, changed the times and seasons. Probably go into so-called New Year's. It's not the real New Year. The new year doesn't begin in the dead of winter. It begins in spring when life comes back to the earth, greenery back to the trees, animals out of hibernation, and life starts to come back. Because in the winter, everything's dead, right? But with that, we're going to give Kal Halal La Yahweh Bahasham Hamashiach Yahushai Shalom.